Okay. So in today's class, we are gonna discuss about web-based applications. So before going to the Java servlets, we must try to understand what is the concept of web-based applications. So without the proper pillars of web-based applications and how the program was running between the web and also the backend code. So then only you can understand what the Java servlets will do. So we are gonna discuss about web-based applications. So before going to the Java servlets, we must try to understand what is a web-based application. Web-based applications. So without the proper pillars of web-based applications and how the program was running between the web and also the backend code. So then only you can understand what the Java servlets. So, what is a web-based application? So, application is nothing but you all are aware of applications which we have learned on the Java 3 editions. So, one is standalone application and another one is enterprise edition, and then we learned about the micro edition. So, these are all are used to develop the applications. Applications is nothing but the apps you all are aware of. So, when coming to these web-based applications, we have an small statement to call as an application that runs on the server side. What is meant by the server? Nothing but Instagram is one of the server. Nothing but ChatGPT is one of the server. Flipkart is one of the server. Each and every IT industry will have hand over a server. So nothing but you are logging into the search portal. Nothing but it is the server which was maintained by our development team. So likewise, each and every website has their own server and they have a server side and creates a dynamic pages. What is meant by the word dynamic? As you all know that what is meant by dynamic and what is meant by static. For that one, we have taken example of weekdays and also the working days of mine. We already taken what is the dynamic data and what is the static data. Static data is a defined thing, Monday to Sunday. But when coming to the dynamic thing, so it is completely based on the updates. So it might be holiday on Wednesday or it might be the holiday on Thursday. The working days might be changed from week to week. But when coming to the static thing, yes, of course the weekdays are as similar as to the week to week. No changes. So that's all. When coming to this web-based application. So an application that runs on server side and creates a dynamic page. So this is the definition of web-based application. So these applications are also called as there is another name for these web-based applications. So these are also called as client-server applications. The video stop. Video stop. Now it's working. That is also known as client-server application. So who is client here? Nothing but you are now supposed to use Flipkart on your Chrome. So now you are a client. So our client, my voice also not getting for you. So there might be internet issues. So until and unless, please hear to my voice. So then, what is meant by client server application? Now, so nothing but so who are the customers are accessing the application. So they are called as clients. The customers are known as clients. So other term of your the clients is customers. So we are customers for Flipkart and we are the customers for Amazon. So now we are accessing the server. Which server? Flipkart server and Amazon server. So that's the reason it is also called as client server application. So currently we have n number of things or a number of technologies to develop this web-based application or creating web applications using Java programming. Using with the help of Java programming, there are n number of technologies in the market. N number of technologies. So what are the technologies? I will currently what is the trending technologies in the market? I will name few of them. Okay, servlets. So servlets is the topmost thing, and Java Server Programming (JSP) is meant by not JavaScript programming. It was a Java Server Programming, full form of JSP. And we have Struts, and we have Spring, and we have Hibernate, and we have JSF, etc. So these are all the technologies are used for creating web application with the help of Java programming, not with the help of Python, C++, something like that. It is with the help of Java programming. And then what is the main process of this thing? Nothing but so client. We are client. We are accessing the request. We are sending the request to the server. Which server? Nothing but through Flipkart server or Amazon for server. We are requesting with the help of the link. It might be HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol, whatever it might be. As a customer, if you are clicking on any link, it will send a request to the server. Then, if they accept, as of course, automatically it will accept. But before accepting these things, there is an n number of processes. We are not able to see that because why? Because it will be done in very milliseconds or microseconds. The request and the response will be done in a milliseconds of time. It won't take much time. It won't much time. Why? Because so if you are clicking any link, you are getting the Flipkart and Amazon automatically seconds. Within seconds. So then we are sending the request to server. And what server will do? Server will fetch the request and it will give the response in the return. It will give the response back to the client. So what response it will give? Nothing but what content that it was rendering on the dynamic pages. So yes, of course, it will give it as a response. It will give it as a response, and then so these web-based applications requires two softwares. So what are the softwares? So let us discuss about what web-based applications requires two softwares. They contain approximately two softwares in them. So what are the softwares? So when coming to the softwares, we have client software and also the server software. We have the client software and we have server software. So what is meant by these two things? So let us discuss these things briefly. So when coming to the client, it can be any browser. So nothing but I am a customer. I am a client. So I might access Flipkart from my mobile. Is it possible for me? Yes, of course it is possible. Your Flipkart application is now you can access each and every product which you are able to access in laptop. Yes, of course you can suppose to use the application in your mobile phone. Yes, of course my client server has changed. It was in mobile application now. So if I want to Google it from Google Chrome, yes, of course, I am using the base for Google Chrome. So if I want to use it in a Internet Explorer, it's not changing, but my output will be same. My output will be same. So whenever I'm clicking the link, it might be from Microsoft Edge or e-internet or Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome or mobile application. So the output will be same. So nothing but it can be any browser that we are gonna use in our mission. In our mission. So, so what is meant by this sentence? It can be any browser means it can be Chrome, it can be Mozilla Firefox, it might be Internet Explorer, Internet. So whatever the thing, it won't bother. At the end of the day, it won't check which browser that you are using, whether you are using Yahoo, whether you are using Google, or whether you are using any number of things. It won't. What is that? It won't check for the browsing thing. It only check for the request what my client was sending and what I supposed to give him in return. Nothing but it will return the response. nothing but it will return the response. So it can be any browser that we use in our mission. So what is meant by mission? Nothing but your mobile is a mission, your laptop is a mission, your TV is a mission. So like internet. So what are the internet you all are aware of? So when coming to this internet, we have Explorer. So sometimes you are opening the Microsoft Edge to Google the things instead of Google Chrome. So we have Chrome, and then we have Firefox, and we have a number of things to browse in the internet. To browse in the internet. So every operating system will provide one default program. What is meant by operating system? So nothing but this is my operating system Windows 11. So it will provide one default settings. So sometimes if you click on link instead of opening Chrome, it will open Microsoft Edge or it will open Internet Explorer. Why it is happening? Nothing but your system and your Windows set a default option of browsing the things from that particular browser. From that particular browser, but I have removed that settings. So that's the reason I will open the Google Chrome as a default setting to set the engine to search a number of things. So likewise, this client software is helpful. So now you understood about what is a client software, nothing but browsing the things in the internet with any of the browser. So now when coming to this server software, so what is meant by server software? So these are available in market. No need to confuse the things. So these are available in the market. So what is the help of the server software? Nothing but maintaining a server like a container. Now I is supposed to maintain a server for what? To view my website to end users or to clients. So at that time, what I need to do? So no need to go, what is the purchase those things. When you are using the, when you are working for a, what is that, popular websites like Flipkart and Amazon, yes, of course, you need to suppose, you supposed to purchase the server. You need to have the license for that server. But here, for our practicing purpose, so when coming to the server softwares, we are downloaded the Tomcat server. We have downloaded the Tomcat server, and this Tomcat server will act as a web container. What is meant by web container? So this web container holds Java programs, HTML programs, JavaScript, CSS and all, and it will fetch for the request that was sent by the client, and it will give the response. Nothing but in the Java code, so how you are writing this is out statement and how you are writing the main method. So in this program, when you are running this program, it will fetch the data first. Until and unless it will fetch the data and it will go to the main method, and inside the main method it will fetch for the sysout statement. So how many sysout statements are there, how and in which process I need to render the output, then this all will be checked, and then it will give the response in the step by step. So what is the response? Response is nothing but the output that you are expecting, the output that you are expecting. Request is the input that you are sending to the program. Nothing but the request is nothing but, so you are requesting in the Java program to perform this is our statement saying that hi, hello, welcome world or hello world. So this is your request to IDE. In return, what IDE will be printed? So in the console it will print only hello world. So remaining all are erased. So it was not showing the implementation. It was not showing the class file, nothing. It was only giving the response to you, to the request what you are accepting or expecting the request. So when coming to the server software, so actually we have downloaded the Tomcat server. So why we have recommended the Tomcat server is nothing but it is very easy to install that one, and the working and the performance of the Tomcat server is very top when compared to remaining all things. Why? Because it is a product or it is an application from the Apache. Apache, we will call it as Apache Tomcat server. So these are available in market. So no need to worry about this. What are this? We have Tomcat and we have WebLogic. So these are all are containers. What containers? Nothing but to run the server with the port numbers. Yes, of course, there will be port numbers 80808082. So what is this port numbers? So nothing but to run each and every server. So if you want to suppose to run any server, yes, suppose you need a port number. So when you are moving to AEM also, there also we will use a port number called P4502 and P4503. So these port numbers are very important and it plays a crucial role when you are supposed to run a what is that web-based application or in the or to the server side. So we have Tomcat server, Apache Tomcat, and we have WebLogic, and we have Glassfish. We have these are all the containers. These are all the containers. So yes, of course, we can download whatever was required. So nothing but we have Visual Studio Code, we have IntelliJ IDE, and we have Eclipse. So we are downloading only Visual Studio Code, but for better user interface. So that's the reason we have n number of what is the technologies and applications available in the market. But we downloaded Tomcat. So why? Because I like the Tomcat interface and it is easy to configure the things using the Tomcat. So if you want to try with WebLogic also, yes, of course you can go and download the server and all. Yes, we can also download the Tomcat server manually. So without using the Eclipse, yes, of course we have using the Eclipse to download the Tomcat server. But manually also, yes, of course you can go to Google and yes, of course you can search for Apache Tomcat login or Apache Tomcat download. So this is the official website, so Apache Tomcat. So yes, of course you can download the things from here, which version that you want. So I want Tomcat 11. So yes, of course I will come here and I will download the zip file. See the zip file here. So instead of this, there is an option in the Eclipse to download the Tomcat system internally or by default, as I have shown you in the last class. So then we have Glassfish and then we have WebSphere. So this WebSphere also a trending thing. Why? Because it was developed by IBM. This WebSphere is developed by IBM Software Solutions. You all are aware of IBM company. So that is the company which developed this WebSphere. And this Tomcat server is from the Apache Software Solutions. So that's the reason it is called as Apache. Okay, Apache Tomcat. So the user will send the request to the server by using the client software. By using client software, what is the software that user had? User might have Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or something what which was he was using. I never mind. So now user will send the request to the server by using the client software, and the server software will receive the request. Now this Tomcat server will receive the request from the client, and what it will do, and it will process the request and then send the response to the client and then sends the response to the client, and this is the entire process of web-based application. This is the process. This is the process. And a web-based application consists of web resources. I have already mentioned you that what are the web resources. So I will write down the things for you here. Consists of web resources. So what is meant by resources that you think? So resources are nothing but it might contain HTML or it might contain images. So in Flipkart, yes, of course, we can find a number of images. Images of what? Images of product, chappals, refrigerators, ACs. Yes, of course, there are so many products which you all are aware of and why that you are using in your daily things. So this consists of HTML, images, CSS files and JS files. Web resources. So please keep a note on it. Web resources comes with HTML, images, and then we have CSS, and then we have JS files, CSS files, and JS files. So when coming to the web components. So we have servlets in the back end. Components will be the back end thing, and we have servlets and Java server page. Sorry, Java server programming, JSP. Java server program. And I will not only this here. Web application consists of web resources and web components. So these are the things. To to make the communication between the client and the server in an application. So we use the protocol. So what is meant by protocol? Protocol is nothing but yes, of course, each and every hyperlink or each and every link consists of HTTP or we know about HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and we also have HTTPS, so which is secure when compared to HTTP. So these are the protocols which are used to build a communication between a and a server, client and a server. And you all are aware of what are web applications are defined to. Web applications are divided into two types. One is static and another one is dynamic. So you all are aware of what is the static data and what is the dynamic data. Static is nothing but defined, it can't be changed. But dynamic data, yes, of course, you can update whatever you want and whenever you want and however you want. So these are the two types of things that we have when coming to the web applications. So then, as I said, these are all the web containers. These are all the web containers. So I will explain the things now here. So when a client sends the request to the server, then the request will come to the web container. So what is the web container here? The Tomcat server is a web container, and this web container will receive the request from the which application or which software, client software, and this will fetch and it will check the resources. So what resources? It will check the image resources, HTML, JS, Java, serverless programming, and see whether the request which was sending by the client is already inbuilt in our container or not. Nothing but whether the code is written for that link or not. If the web container is not able to find the code of the request which was sent by the client, then it will throws an error set and error not found, 404 error, 503 error. You can see sometimes that server as lagging, and you can see that there is an one server issue with the with the codes called 404, 503. So these are examples of the errors which we will get from web containers. Why? Because they are not able to fetch the data or fetch the code. So what is the expected output that you want to get in the web page? So now it was fetching the things, but it can't find the exact response for your request. So at that time, you might receive 404 error. Then, when coming to this serverless thing, so you all are now aware of what an web-based application will do and what is the process of getting the output of web from the web-based application and all. So now let us discuss about this serverless, so which is very important topic when it comes to the AEM as well. So when coming to this servlet, so what is the servlet? A servlet is nothing but is a part of a Java web application. A Java servlet is also a Java object, or else, of course, you can call it as a Java class as well. So, likewise, so how you are creating a class, how you are creating an interface. Yes, of course, now you can create a servlet, but not with the name of servlet. Yes, of course, it will have public class, a demo, and it will have constructor, and it will have methods, and it is supposed to implement n number of interfaces, and it's supposed to extend n number of classes you all are aware of. So you all are aware of what is an extends keyword will do, what are the parameters in the methods, and what are the methods, what is the syntax of the methods, public void, add method, public void, subtract method, and all. And you all guys are aware of how a constructor will do public class name and how the class is defined, public class demo, curly brackets open and curly brackets close. So likewise, servlets is a part of a Java. It is a part of Java web application. Java web application. So, a Java servlet is a Java object that responds to HTTP request. Servlets only responds to the servlets only responds to the HTTP protocol, the websites. So if you write a simple Java program, so if you write a simple Java program with extends keyword and you have taken grandfather, father, and son. So if So why it was not giving the output? Nothing but it was not a servlet class. It was just a Java class. So servlets only fetch the data. Servlets only fetch the data. So servlets is very important to write down the things, and only the web container, the Tomcat web container will only fetch the data from the servlets class, not from the normal class. So why? Because it will implement a number of things and it contains the required procedure to get the output in the server. So how is that possible? I will let you know how it was possible. So then, and a Java servlet is a Java object. So please try to understand this. A Java servlet. So I will write down the things here. A Java servlet is a Java object. So what is meant by object? You always are aware of what is an object-oriented programming language and what are the objects in the Java classes, and what is the class also refers to that responds to HTTP request, or I suppose you can call it as a protocol, HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol. So it runs inside a servlet container. So what is a container? Web container, Tomcat server. It will run inside the Tomcat server, not outside the Tomcat server. And a servlet container is capable of running multiple web applications at the same time. What is meant by this thing? Nothing but the same code, the same servlet code you can run n number of times. Nothing but in a Flipkart. So if you want to open the refrigerator protector, so yes, of course you can open it n number of time, n number of what is that tabs. So you can open new tab and you can click the Flipkart and you can open the same refrigerator again. And you can open the new tab and you can open the same refrigerator again. How is that possible? Nothing but it can run number of times. Okay, so Java serverless lifecycle. So we must have to discuss about what the Java serverless lifecycle is. So it is very important. Java serverless lifecycle. So you must have to be aware of this life cycle. It is very important. So when coming to this life cycles, so we initialize the servlets. So how we can initialize the servlets? So nothing but we can initialize the servlets using init method. Init method. So we have n number of methods when come to the Java servlets thing. N number of methods. So in that we will have init method, we will have service method, and we will have destroy method. So these three are very important. So in the interview also, yes, of course, they might ask you these things, saying that what are the life cycle or what are the methods that are included in Java servlets. What are the methods that are included in Java servlets? So, so these are very important topics. So you must have to carefully listen about the three lines what I am writing here. So we initialize. So what is meant by initialize? Nothing but we are initializing a variable at what? Int I is equal to 10. Here variable I is initializer. So to initialize or to keep that or to start the servlet, we initialize the servlet with the help of servlet by calling init method. So method has parenthesis brackets and semicolon, or else curly brackets open and curly brackets close. You all guys are aware of by calling init method. So whenever you find the init method, you must have to identify that we have initialized the servlets in this class. Then servlets will calls service method. So what is service method? So in service method you can perform CRUD operations. So what is meant by CRUD operations? We can quickly create, retrieve, update and delete. Create, retrieve, update and delete. Yes, of course you can perform a number of things, and this is important for the client request, for processing the client request. These service methods are very important. So in these service methods you can see the do get, do post, do delete and do put. So these are the names of the methods. You all are aware of what CRUD operations will do. Nothing but dot add, dot push, dot pop, dot pick. If you have practiced with collections thing, yes, of course now you are aware of each and every method will do now. What each and every method will do now. So now, when coming to this service thing or service method, so this is very important and it must be included for each and every Java servlets for processing the client request. So from this only, from this block, from this method only, from service methods only, you will get the output on the web page. And then at last, we have the destroy method to terminate, or yes, terminate is a good word when it comes to the technical term. So to terminate this servlet, what is meant by terminate? To close, or you need to stop the servlet thing. Yes, of course you can terminate the entire servlet by calling destroy method. So then in interview they will ask about, so what are the methods that we use in servlets. So I must have to say that, so basically we have three methods. So one is init, service and destroy. But when coming to this service, we will perform the CRUD operation. So for that we will have four methods again in service. So what are they? Do get, do post, do put, do delete. So I will explain things very carefully and I will write the syntax for each and every method here itself. So at the end, yes, of course, if you want to use garbage collector also, yes, of course, you are aware of system.gc parenthesis bracket open and close. So why this is useful? So unused methods and unused variables will be collected by the garbage collector. So yes, of course, if you want and it is necessary, yes, of course, you can use garbage collector. Okay, system.gc. It is better than runtime.system.gc, runtime.gc.system.gc. This way use that system.gc. So then when coming to this init method, so when coming to this init method, so this is a method only used once in the entire process. Once in an entire process, nothing but if you are initializing int I. So you are initializing only once, int I, int I, once in the entire process. So it is called only once. Called only once when the servlet is created. So it is called only once when the servlet is created. Servlet is created. So I would like to take down the each and every syntax for each and every method. So you all guys are aware of what is public and what is void. Public void and init. Init. Parenthesis brackets open and parenthesis brackets close. Now it will throw servlet exception. So each and every method will throw the servlet exception. So what is meant by exception? You all guys are aware of. So no need to discuss the things again and again. Why? Because I already taught you about what is the exceptions. So it is a case sensitive. So you must have to write down the things. E capital, I think yes, capital. Yeah. So servlet exception, and then what it will be? Curly brackets open and curly brackets close. So this is the method, and as of course you can write the statements over here, stating that yes, of course, if you want to give the switch out statement saying that okay, servlet has started. Yes, of course you can. So based on the requirement, so we will give the block of code. What is meant by block of code? The curly brackets open and close is called a block of code. So whatever the statements that you are writing in that curly brackets is known as block of code or block of statements. So then we had service thing, service method, service method. So this service method is the main method. You all guys are aware of what is the main method. Public static void main string args curly brackets open and close. And yes, of course, if you want output of this sort statement, or if you want the output of an integer, if you want to do n number of CRUD operations, so it will only perform the main method. So likewise, so when it comes to the servlets thing, we have a service method, so which is the main method designed to perform the actual task that was required to the client or required for the based on the requirements. So it is a main method designed or developed to perform the actual or required thing, actual task or actual program or actual output. So whatever you want, as of course you can include there like that, to perform the actual task that was required or that was expected from the customer, that was expected by the client, that was required. So yes, of course, when coming to the syntax, same public access modifier, void return type, and then service. Again in the service, we need to pass the parameters. You all guys are aware of. So in the method, when coming to the method overloading, we are giving the parameters int a or string b, int I or int j or something like that. So when coming to the servlets, so we must have to give the servlet request and servlet response. So yes, of course, this is the variable name. This response is a variable name. So instead of response, I will take rs. So it is my opinion. So if you want to take the variable name as response, as of course you can go ahead and take it. No worries. So I have taken this servlet request. So what is it? So it is an interface. It was an interface. So servlet request is nothing but so whatever the request that you are sending, so it will be here, and the request is saved under the variable name rs. So yes, of course I will take rs as a small letters, and then automatically you must have the response, right? Servlet response, servlet response. And for this also, so I was creating sr, or else let us take res this is response. And then you all guys throws which exception? You throw servlet exception, and also if you can include, yes of course it is good and recommended to use IO exception. So what is an IO exception? Input and output exception. Input and output exception, and here you will write the statements that are required. So this is the syntax for service method: public void service, servlet request and servlet response need to be imported. Yes, of course, I will show you how when it comes to the servlet programming in the Eclipse. So it must be imported. You know, you guys are aware of import java.util.scanner, import java.io.star or list something. So likewise, you must have to import these interfaces, and predefined classes need to be imported when you are using the Java servlets thing. And then we now need to go to the CRUD operations. So do get. So this is a method, a get request, or to get means how we can say so. So to get means, so whatever the things that you are getting from the client, nothing but, so client will submit their address for delivering any product. So now you are getting the data from the client. So client is submitting an email, nothing but you are getting the email ID of that client. So then what you will do, you will send the verification OTP to that email post. What is that get thing will do? Get thing will request result from a normal request for a URL or from a HTML form that has no method specified, and it should be handled by do get method. So nothing but, so what is the request that client is sending to you? Client has sending to confirm his order. He was sending a email ID to you. Nothing but now with the help of do get method, you will get what you will get. You will get the email from the client. So with the help of that email, you include that email, nothing but with the help of the scanner thing you all guys are aware of. You are using that scanner class. So yes, of course, you will now scan that email and send the OTP, 6 digits or 4 digit OTP, or what is the required message that you want. You will send there, and he will paste the OTP there to confirm the order. So likewise, to do get, I will write this a get request result from a normal request for a HTML or a URL or from an HTML. So what is meant by HTML pages? So each and every website will render the HTML pages. So yes, of course, if you want, yes, of course, you can go to the website, open the Flipkart and go to the inspect and check. There will be HTML code. It might be, they might be using heading tag, image source tag, or what is that, parameter tag or list tag. Yes, of course, each and every page that you are getting, even the search portal is built by HTML. Each and every site that was rendering will be rendered the output of on the form of an HTML thing. So, or from HTML form that has no method specified, and should be handled, and this entire process is handled by do get method, and it is a case sensitive. Do get, G must be capital. Do get method. So you, the same thing. What is the same thing? When coming to the syntax, same public void do get method. And what are the parameters that I need to pass? The same parameters which I pass it to the service. So simply copy those things here, copy, and I'm supposed to save here. That's it. Servlet request rs, servlet response res. So these are the variable names. Res and rs is the variable names, and we'll throw servlets exception and IO exception, and then block of code open statements. Done. So the same syntax will be applicable to do post. Do post. Do post. So what do post will do? A post request results from an HTML form that specially likes post as a method, and it should be handled by a do posting, nothing but when coming to the post. So what is the response that you are giving to the input that customer has given to you? Do post is nothing but it is posting something, what it was posting. to the request which client was expecting from your end, or for the what is the client was expecting nothing but, so let it be a login form. So now you are saying that create an account. So now he will give as an input with the help of email ID and password. And in the return, in the post, you will say, yes, of course, you are now successfully logged into your Flipkart account. So this is the use of do post method when it comes to the real-time scenario. So it will be the response, and you must have to collect the parameters. So what parameters? You must have to collect the email ID, and you must have to collect the password, and you must have to create an account for him. So this entire thing will be handled by do get and do post and do put. Yes, of course, service method is very important, and this works like a main method. So when coming to this do post, a post request results from an HTML form that specifically like post as a method. Post as a method. So for this understanding, so you must have to learn how to create a login form using the HTML. So in that, so if you are gonna create any form, so if you open the form tag, and then you will open the action, and then you will give the method as well. In the tag, you will give method as well. So method might be post or get. So if you are aware of HTML programming, so if you are giving the input type text or input type password for the login form, yes, of course, at that time, so you will give the method as post or method as get, method as get. So then, so further, let's now break down this. What is that syntax for this method? The same, but here instead of do get, you will see do, sorry, do post, do post. So this is the syntax. So yes, of course, if you are aware of the syntax of service, so that syntax will be applicable for both do get and do post, do post. And then we had do, do get. So you are all do get method, sorry, not do get, do put, do put. So what will be the do put will be is used to update the data. Nothing but in collections you are using put dot put, put in index 0, put 1, or change the value of index. So likewise you are using this do put here in servlets as well. He is used to update the data. And then we have do delete. So you all are aware of what do delete will do. So nothing but delete method, delete existing data, delete existing data. And then we had yes, of course, I will try to take down the simple terms for do get and do put, not do post. The single terms, these two ports provide you with the response from the server. So for easy understanding, provides you with the response from the server or web container. So then we have to get. So in the simple terms, we can say it as basically gets the information. Basically gets the information. So that's it. These are the four methods involved in the service thing. So if in interview and ask you how many methods, you only must not have to derive him or tell that it was only three methods. Init, service, and tester. You must have to include this life cycle of this thing. You must also include the do post, do get, do put, do delete as a methods when they ask you. But you must have to include these all methods in the service method. You must have to elaborate the things. So whenever he asks about the life cycle or the methods involved in servlets, so it is compulsory in an essay question. So you must have to give an answer at least for 8 to 10 lines. Okay. So don't break the thing with a small 2 marks answer. Then now we had the destroy method. So why it was used for? So this destroy method is used to terminate, or it is called only once in the end of the entire process. Now nothing but we are stopping these servlets here, and you can write n number of lines. Once you have used the destroy, you can create n number of methods that you want. You can create public void add, you can create public void subtraction, public void Karthik, Kaush. Yes, of course you can create n number of things. But once it was called, then the servlet is terminated there. The servlet is terminated there. So it is called only once in the entire process. And the syntax for this one will be simple: public void destroy. That's it. So once you want the sysout statement saying that, the sysout statement you can give the saying that um, it was destroyed. It was destroyed. Yes, of course you can give whatever you want based on the requirement. So when you come to the syntaxes, so this public void init and this public void destroyed will be same. No parameters are passed. So but when you need to pass the parameters, in that servlet request and servlet response. So request is the variable used for the request, what was the data that was given by the client. And in the response, in the backend thing, the response will be the res variable. So what is the res variable? I have set this res variable for the request response. So I can change the variable name as response anyways. So whenever I want to use this response, whenever I want to give the response, I need to call this response thing. So to make it simple, I was keeping in a short term saying that res. That was good enough. That was good enough. So then, now you all are aware of what is the life cycle of a servlet thing and how it will work. So now let us go with a brief statement for again for the servlets as a reason. So as I given the simple statements for this life cycle, and I would like to give again a simple statement for the servlets as well. Servlets, a simple statement where you can explain the entry. So servlets is an API. What is meant by API? Application Programming Interface. Is an API, or you can call it as a Java EE API. What is meant by Java EE API? So you guys are aware of what is a Java EE Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition means nothing but to develop an e-commerce website or banking applications. You all guys are aware of those things where I have discussed in the earlier stage of Java. So Servlet is an API for developing web-based applications. So how simple it is. Yes, of course you can derive like that. So Servlet is a API or Java EE API is used for developing the web-based applications. That's it. Done. The definition of servlets was done. So now, the servlet is a server-side technology used only when developing the applications. Until and unless servlets are not used to practice n number of codes. So until and unless you are not installed servlets or do not install Tomcat server, but yes, suppose you are supposed to render n number of codes in the oops collections, and you are getting the required output, right? So until and unless you are developing the web-based applications, so no need to take down the servlets programming. The servlets programming. And this entire servlets API is provided to the programmers in the form of two packages. Nothing but the predefined classes and interfaces of the servlets are mentioned in two packages. So what is meant by packages? In two folders. In two folders, we will take down these things, the entire servlets. So this servlets API is provided in two packages. So what is meant by packages? Nothing but packages are nothing but the folders. So when coming to the folders that you can see in what is it? Servlets. So we have Java X dot servlets. Sorry, servlet. Java X dot servlet, and then we have Java X dot HTTP. Oh, sorry, servlet HTTP. servlet HTTP. So these are the two folders that we have where we can implement or call the interfaces, or where we can use the import statements and all. Okay, these are the two crucial folders. One is servlet folder and another one is servlet HTTP folder, and I will show you how these are things are executed when I open the Eclipse once it was done, once the class is done. So then, to develop a servlets program, so nothing but we developed an interface. How we have developed an interface? So create interface, and we have given some abstract methods there inside. So to develop a normal Java class as a servlet class, so yes, of course, your code. So what you have written the code in the collections thing. Yes, of course, that code you can develop it as a servlet program. You can name it as a servlet program. So nothing but, if you suppose, if you bought a land, so you will make it yours. How you will make it? You will keep a barricades for that. You will build a fencing around it, and you will what is that? What is that? You build a board saying that this land belongs to Kartikeya Gaud. So you are saying that. So now this class, this entire land class is recognized, or it was built by Karthik. Likewise, to build a normal Java class to a servlet thing, yes, of course, now you need to suppose it to follow some things. Nothing but we need to follow by implementing some things, and we need to follow by extending some classes as well. And if servlet programming is built, is developed, otherwise is developed um, in three ways, only three ways. So what are the three ways? So first one can be developed by implementing servlet interface. It is developed by implementing servlet interface. So whenever your class use implements keyword, implements servlets, so then the entire class is a servlet class now. It was in now a servlets program. It was now a servlets program. So likewise, the another way, it is developed by extending generic servlets. So generic servlet is a class. Generic servlet is a class. So yes, of course, now your class can now use extends keyword, and then they can call this generic servlets. And likewise, we had by developing or by extending the HTTP servlet class. These are the three ways. Nothing but implementing servlet directly, or extending the generic servlet, or extending the HTTP servlet. So these are the three ways, so where you can make a normal class to a Java servlet with a like a Java servlet. And then when coming to these packages, so now let us discuss about what are the packages and what are the things that it is given for us. So now when coming to these packages, so I told about these two packages, right? Java x.servlet and Java x.servlet HTTP. So this Java x.servlet is nothing but generic servlets. So I will take down the things for you here. So I will write down the here itself. So when coming to this package, so use it to develop protocol independent servlets, nothing but the generic servlets. Protocol independent protocol independent, nothing but the generic things. Generic servlet generic servlet. So what is meant by generic servlet? Nothing but extending the generic servlet class. So now in this package, so we have the generic servlet. So in this generic servlet, so what are the interfaces and what are the classes that holds this Java x.servlet package? So now we have created a comp package, right? When we are practicing the Java, we have created one package called comp. So likewise, I have created Java x.servlet. So then what are the predefined classes and what are the predefined interfaces that Java x.servlet holds? So nothing but it holds interfaces and then classes. Now let us take down the interfaces. So when coming to the interface, So it has um, servlets, servlets, and then we have ser- servlet request, and then we have servlet response. So these are all the interfaces, as I said, in the service method. So we are calling the interface servlet request, servlet response. Then we need to use the import statement. So what import statement? Import java x dot servlet, and then dot servlet request. So these are the import statements where you can see. So then we have servlet config, then we have servlet context. So these are all the interfaces. So we had request dispatcher. So these are all the interfaces. And what is the class that we have? You all guys are aware of what is the class that we have, that we learned here, generic servlet class. So that is the thing that we had here, generic thing. That's it. So these are the interfaces. Yes, of course, if you want to call any of these interface, you need to use the import statement saying that java x dot servlet dot. So whatever the interface that you want, request dot dispatcher or servlet context or servlet response. So whatever the things, you all guys are aware of how to use the import statements. So then we had java x dot servlet http. So this is also a package used to develop the http protocol based servlets. So please remember one thing, Java X.Servlets is a protocol independent. No need for protocol for this. Protocol means nothing but HTTP or HTTPS or something like that. So we have, I think, we have 7 types of protocols in the networking, I think so. So I'm not good enough with the networking. So basically I know the network HTTP and HTTPS protocols. So then, so blindly remember that. So if there is no HTTP in the package, then it is a protocol independent. So if you see HTTP in the package, then it was a protocol independent, especially the HTTP protocol. So I will take all the things used to develop the HTTP protocol based servlets. That's it. So it will also contains the interfaces, and it will also contains the classes. So you guys are aware of the classes. So what is the class? You already extended a Java normal Java class to extended thing. So what is the extended thing? Nothing but dot. 1 second. So you have used HTTP servlet class. So that will be the only class here in Java X dot servlet HTTP. Only class. We have only single classes in Java X.Servlet and Java X.Servlet HTTP. It is generic servlet class and HTTP servlet class. So these are the only two things that we have. These are the only two classes that we have. So then when coming to the interfaces, so the same thing. Uh, HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response, and then we will have HTTP session. That's it. That's it. So these are the things you must have to identify and you must have to remember when it comes to the web-based application and servlets. You have now learned about what is the life cycle of the servlets, and then we have learned about what are the classes and interfaces and what are the packages that we have in the servlets. So if in the entire code you will only see these things, you will only find the methods, you will only find the import statements, you only find the implements keyword, you will find the extends keyword, and these all things. So then when coming to this, what is that, advantages or disadvantages of servlets. So let us know about the advantages and disadvantages. So when coming to the advantages, so servlet is convenient in modifying regular HTML, modifying the regular HTML, and then we can write the servlet code into Java server programming. we can write nothing but what is meant by write nothing but in with the help of actions keyword we are writing one class properties and methods to another class. So likewise when coming to the servlets we can write this servlet program into or code into JSP, Java Server Program, and then this what is the servlets includes the future of multi-threading of Java. So what is meant by multi-threading? You all guys are aware of those multi-threading, nothing but so if you have created n number of threads, n number of variables to get in the single class, v1 class, v2 class, so they have three children. I have taken an example with the children as well. So each and every children now had a right for my properties and my buildings and my entire house. So that is called multi-threading. So then mm, include the future of multi-threading in Java. So then we have uh, what is it? We have exception handling. We have servlet exception handling, right? So we have exception handling. We can easily handle that exception with the help of throws keyword or try catch block. As of course, you can do a number of things. So it has a separate business logic. What is meant by business logic? We have a number of interfaces here. Those are nothing but business logics, right? So business logic. Why? Because we have n number of interfaces. So what is meant by interfaces as I tell? Nothing but they are business logic. KFC, HP. So these are all business document and business rules that need to be obeyed. So then at the last, and it is easy to write the program or pass the information. Easy to pass the information to the client, and it is understandable and readable thing, and easy to pass the information. Easy to pass the information. So each and everything will have disadvantages as it holds the advantages. So what are the disadvantages? So when you are designing the servlet, so designing is nothing but um, so where we need to keep the sys out statement, so it will be printed in the line by line. So for that one, yes, of course, it required the HTML thing as well. It required the HTML thing and CSS thing to make it design. Nothing but what is the size of the text with the help of heading tag, or you can reduce the tag size of the thing with the paragraph tag, and this is all required. So that's why the designing this servlet is complicated. So then servlets often slow down the application. So sometimes the server may be slow down. So yes, of course, you need to maintain the memory management and you need to follow n number of rules and n number of data things, and you need to update each and every data thing, and you need to delete the old past data. Why? Because the server may slow down when you are performing n number of requests, or if there might be n number of requests from the clients at the same time, then the server may be slowed down. Yes, of course, if you are booking an IRCTC ticket in the Tatkal, so sometimes, so if there are lakhs of people are logging at the same time at that time 11 o'clock, so at time the server may be slow and the ticket cannot be booked there. So I think that is a server slowdown. So when coming to these business logics, the interfaces are difficult to understand. But as of course, if you try, it will be understandable. Why? Because that interface also was developed by a human being, not by a robot. But somewhat it is difficult to understand the business logic. So what is meant by business logic? Interfaces. Interfaces. So then, another thing, and we need a JRE, Java Runtime environment on the server to run the servlets. Yes, suppose you either a server what is JDK, JRE and JVM. So inside JRE there will be JVM, Java Virtual Machine. And when coming to this what is the database connectivity, so it is somewhat difficult or complicated. Not difficult, but there are n number of steps and n number of fields that you need to be what is that obeyed, and you need to be followed to connect a Java program and a backend database. So database connectivity is somewhat difficult. So what's not that much easy, they are for suppose if there are only four steps to follow for different application, but here when comes to the Java thing there may be 10 steps that need to be obeyed, or the 10 steps that need to be succeed to connect with the database in the backend. And also, this Java servlets will obey MVC thing. So what is MVC? So MVC is model view controller. Model view controller. So this model is nothing but data and methods used to work with it. It is also known as DAO. Nothing but data and methods used to work with it. Model will take care of data and methods. Nothing but what is meant by data? Properties, variables. You all guys are aware of, used to work with it. And then what is view? In view, the interface. Nothing but what the content, what the data you are viewing on the web page. So it might be in red color or it might be in purple color. So the image size must be padding 20 into 30 or 100 into 240, something like that. So the all the user interface. So with the help of HTML, CSS, and then we have JavaScript for viewing the data on website. So now controller. So this is the principle of servlets to render. One is model. Model is nothing but the data and the methods used to work on it. When the one another one is view, the interface, nothing but how your data is rendering on the screen. Whether it is in red color, whether it is in heading, whether it is as a background, as a square, in the black at the end, in the back, and in the white in the front with the text. So whether the text is in which thing, whether it might be in Roman, or it might be in curly thing, or it might be all capital letters. So each and every view thing is handled by the interfaces called HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. When coming to the controller, see coordinates internet. So this is the connection between the view and the model. The view and the model. Controller is nothing but it controls the connection or connectivity. Suppose you can make between model and view. So model and view connectivity. Once again, connection between model and view. So that's the thing. So the servlets obeys the principle of MVC, and the life cycle is this. So that's all for today.